Hey, what's going on? So, hey, I realized I just did a video about Ultra Magnus, but you might have seen on that video, and you might not have through my excellent manipulation of reality, that I was having some real trouble opening up the ankle rockers on the new metallic Deco Ultra Magnus. And it took me a while, and it's due to the paint. It's due to the hi Quinzel. It's due to the extra paint. It creates some resistance. You gonna jump up, or what are we gonna do here? It creates some extra resistance. I'm trying to keep this video short, actually. And you need to be careful. If your copy is anything like mine, you got to be careful when you open up those ankle rockers, because number one, if you use the spudger too aggressively, you could chip the paint. And number two, you can break the thing based on how the ankle rockers are designed. The way that, I mean, you can see I successfully got it open on both, but the way that the ankle rockers are designed, this is a little bit difficult to see. There we go. There's this bump out that is, it's, and there's a clip in here. So that bump out is going above this. So you could yank it and yank it and yank it, and you might just break the thing. And so, like, I was trying with a spudger, and normally what I would do on the other copies is I'd put the spudger in here and like slowly work my way across, and then that would kind of wrench it free. I had to be much more careful. I was trying for a while and I was unsuccessful, and I was getting concerned. So, but I'm here. The reason I'm here is not just to warn you about the thing, because I could have made a text post. I wanted to show you the method that I was able to figure out pretty quickly that just makes it much safer. So I figured it out when I was starting to I wanted to position the shins properly with the doors. So what I did, and I realized over here you've got this screw here, and that's keeping this side of the panel up against here, right? It's keeping that attached. And again, if you look at this, trying to get the right angle, this bump here, this rail, sits above this edge on this piece. So by loosening this screw, I was able to create a little bit more space, and then I was able to use a spudger on this. So all I did here, and I'm going to reenact it here a little bit. I'm not going to do it exactly, but I took a screwdriver. Sorry, this is not centered. And I gave it, honestly, I gave it like half a rotation, maybe a full rotation, just to loosen it up. And what I did here was I began to transform the leg to open it up here. Because I think you could see where I'm going with this now, right? So like this frees up this side, and it's what you need to do in order to move this door flush for the shins. But my thought was here, if I could move this out, and obviously here, I'm not going to reclip it because I'm never going to do that again. But if you can imagine, this was joined together. My thought was, if I can begin to manipulate this to create enough space, I could then insert a spudger here and jimmy it down. And that's exactly what I was able to do. So I opened up this panel and I went like I was starting to transform it. I got it. You're not going to be able to pull this off completely to rotate it around to transform it, because it's going to be held in by that ankle. But I was able to flex it a little bit and start to open it up. Once I started to open it up, I unscrewed this. I gave it maybe a full rotation. And then I inserted the spudger here. And I went with a very slim spudger. And I first started here on this end. I got a little bit of space there. And then I began to, not to drag it because I didn't want to chip any paint, but very slowly and gingerly, I began to wedge it open. And I was able to, because I had reduced the friction, do the unscrewing this part. I was able to pull it open, and honestly, you could see it articulates very freely now. Then I tightened this screw back up. I put the leg back together, and that's it. So be very careful. There's some parts on this figure that are extremely tight, like especially like the outward motion of the hips. I'm finding, and look, that happens a lot when you're dealing with a fully painted figure, as this is, because the figure was designed, I think, before they knew that they would be using this this thicker metallic paint. I will give you one other thing that will help is that you've got these elbows are double hinged. It could be, but to get the double hinge, that second hinge, it could be difficult because again, like you've got to like pull this and just keep articulating it. I have found that I was able to basically, I would get a spudger in here, right, and begin to transform it. I would pull open and then once you pull it open, if you need to, you could begin to undo these screws too. But once you pull it open, you can then, it's actually very easy. It's like, I wish I had the sound. I wish I was able to show that to you and so you could hear the sound better. But it very easily then pops up. And then you could always close this back up very simply. And once you have opened it once, I find that it is much easier to articulate in a way that's not as scary. See, now it's very easy. So with XTB figures especially, but with any of your figures, if it doesn't feel good, stop doing it, reassess, see what you need to do, and see if there's usually an alternate way to get your thing, to get it done. And look, again, I'm not good at this. But you can see, by the way, look, chipping. You got to be careful with this stuff. I'm not good at this, but you could learn these skills that make things so much easier for you. In theory, this one is much tighter. This one I might actually use the screw. But you could do these things that make it much easier, make it safer. For you to, I'll do this off camera. I don't need to prove myself to you. I just did it right here with no preparation. But anyway, you could do these things that make it much, much safer and protect your investment. You don't want to break things. No one wants to have to use after sales. All right. Bye. Bye.